What happens for most of us, we are shaped by our experience, we are shaped by our reading, and we develop preconceived ideas of how things should be. So I would talk about largely the church in Romania as being highly governed, highly influenced by Reformational theology. And what I mean by that, since the Reformation, much of the church has been about gathering. So that's been the big thing, gathering. So we have a speaker, we talk to the gathering, we have a building, and somehow we think the church has always been like that. But that's new. That's new. The church of the first 300 years had no buildings. They had very few paid pastors. There was no clergy. So we've developed a clergy. We did say after the Reformation that everybody was a minister to God. But in terms of how we function, some people think the person behind the pulpit, they have some special kudos with God. They have some special relationship with God. That's pretty well unfounded in New Testament theology. And so when we talk about the church functioning, I'm saying, can we go back to its roots? And going back 500 years, that's not far enough. We actually have to go back to biblical roots. And most biblical New Testament churches were in homes. Now, they're not in homes like we have here in Europe, you know, where you have an apartment and 2 rooms and whatever. I mean, they were large homes, because oftentimes the homes, it was a multi-family facility. Oftentimes it was a place where the family business ran out of it. So when Jesus used the phrase, "In my Father's house there are many rooms," he was people understood what he was saying. There's enough space for everyone, like there is in your home. You have multiple rooms. So the church in the New Testament was house-based. I mean, where the church, the church that's grown the most rapidly on the planet is in China. And that's all small groups.
They don't have big buildings, churches or temples.
They don't have no churches or temples. Okay, you have the underground church and the overground church, but the underground church is growing at an extraordinary fast pace. And so they relish and welcome persecution. So in February the 1st, in 2018, a law was passed that every religious institution has to be re-registered, and every single person with religion has to be registered. And so, as from the West, we say, wow, that's terrible, that's terrible. But in China, they say, that's fantastic because it's going to force us to go underground. Wow, fancy the Holy Spirit inspiring the government to persecute us so that we can grow more rapidly.